Check this out. Welcome, Fatima Media. Welcome to another adventure. And we are here in the beautiful city of Hanoi. And first order of the day, it's actually very late. It's nearly 12 o'clock. I just got my banh mi. Of course, first thing that you do when you're here actually in Hanoi is you get your banh mi. I'm heading near the cathedral today because I'm also going to grab my drink. And this is very intentional. The reason why I'm going to grab my drink somewhere there because I'm going to sit down just in front of this cathedral, the Notre Dame Cathedral. Well, the Notre Dame Cathedral of Vietnam, but it's actually called St. Joseph's Cathedral. Now, that cathedral is pretty patterned to the Notre Dame Cathedral that you find in Paris in France. If you look back the history of Vietnam, Hanoi, which is located in the northern part of Vietnam, has a long-standing history of, French colony. They were never colonized, but there was a huge attempt during this era. That sort of attempt to colonize the country really made a huge impact in their lifestyle, government, politics, education, and that's the reason why, as you can see, if you've been here in Hanoi, you'll see tons of French influence here. From the buildings alone, the architecture alone, you can find them here everywhere. And from the banh mi and the baguette that you'll be able to find everywhere here in Vietnam, not just in Hanoi, that's a huge evidence. So I'm just gonna stop by at the convenience store to grab another drink. All right, see you in a while. Bye. Then we're back and we got our iced tea. So now we're heading to this coffee shop right across the St. Joseph Cathedral. That was a struggle, so I came to just cross out the pedestrian lane, and here in Hanoi, or in general here in Vietnam, the biggest challenge is that when you cross the street, you really have to be prepared because the local culture in terms of crossing the street here in Vietnam is kind of extreme, really crazy. A bit disorganized, I would say, if that word will suffice. Disorganized in a sense, or chaos in a sense that even if you see the red light, obviously motorists, cars are supposed to stop, but they don't have this sense. Really, when they see that red light, they tend to actually hurry instead of actually slowing down because there are tons of people, locals, tourists are crossing really the pedestrian lane. And I'm not only talking about my experience, but every single person that I have actually spoken with, they have the same experiences. We're not taking this as a negative sense, but it's that chaos is actually part of culture. And that's one thing that you have to learn when you are here in Hanoi or in Saigon or any big cities here in Vietnam in general. So just getting to know the culture is one way of maneuvering yourself if and when you get to visit one of these big cities or main cities here in Vietnam. Alright, so we're just arrived here and now we're going to grab our drink. Hi, can I order the lemon?
Lemon?
Yeah, that one, yeah.
One?
The one, yeah. Cold.
No.
Yeah.
That's why here.
For here?
Here?
Yeah. Alright, the reason why I have chosen this coffee shop because it's right next to the Notre Dame Cathedral or the St. Joseph Cathedral, and like what I said earlier, the biggest part of Vietnamese culture is the influence of the French culture, and this is one of the biggest legacies that they have actually taken since the French left the country a long time ago. Check this out. So this is the current vibe right in front of this cafe, and there's this very French window as you can see over here. Check this out. Thank you very much. There you go. And so you see, this is priceless. Alright, so now you understand why I have actually picked this destination whenever I come here to Hanoi, because of the lovely ambiance, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, or just because of this lovely ambiance, seeing the lovely tourists, seeing the ambiance right in front of the St. Joseph is just priceless. I just got my drink. Check this out. Here you go. And of course, my banh mi. Alright, so see you in a while. I'm going to enjoy my late breakfast or I don't know what to call this branch. All right, see you in a while. We just finished our people watch session here right in front of the St. Joseph Cathedral. It's a small coffee shop. It's called Hao Cafe. I have been here actually several times and I know this coffee shop very well, and that's the reason why I always keep coming back and forth. Alright, so next task today, we are going to the cathedral just right in front of this Hao Cafe, as you can see. Check this out. This is the current vibe of this area. I don't know, I forgot the name of the district, but this is right at the heart of Hanoi, the St. Joseph's Cathedral. Okay, we're moving close to the cathedral just so you can see the beautiful and appreciate the beautiful architecture of this St. Joseph's Cathedral, a Catholic church situated right in the heart of Hanoi. Very interesting Sunday here in the beautiful city of Hanoi. I love the weather, really. Last night the weather dropped up until 23 degrees, so pretty cool for the summer season. Now, just to give you a little context of this St. Joseph's Cathedral here in the beautiful city of Hanoi, this cathedral that resembles the Notre Dame Cathedral, not exactly, but you see some touches of the Notre Dame Cathedral in France, in Paris, was actually built sometime in 1854 and onwards. Not sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but somewhere this period when the French occupation happened sometime during this era. Obviously, this is one of the living legacy that the French has given to the beautiful culture of Vietnam. And that's why mostly and majority of the architectures here in Hanoi, I'm only referring to Hanoi, not necessarily in Saigon, dominantly here in Hanoi because the French specific occupation happened in this region, the northern part of Vietnam. Yes, for the Saigon area, which is the southern part, I cannot tell you what the history is all about and how the history of Vietnam transpired in relation to the history of Hanoi. So there, I can only give you a really glimpse of what really happened during the year. So this was built sometime in 1854 onwards, and then fast forward to the present, it got closed because for decades really, France did not win over this sort of colonization that they have actually envisioned somewhere here in the Indochina part, and that something came up. Catholicism that was supposed to proliferate during the period of 1800s and onwards, when the France started to colonize Vietnam, completely changed. They became communist, and I don't know how communism affects religion too, but anyway, there were plenty of restrictions in many aspects of their movements, and that led them to close for decades this specific church. And it was reopened sometime in 1990 and became the seat of the tourism. And that's why up to today you can see this iconic St. Joseph's Cathedral, one of the many places to really visit and a must visit because of its historic feature, because of its culture. Many of the tourists are always suggested to visit this place because of its rich culture, and that's how it came to exist up until today. Certain areas of Hanoi and Vietnam in general are still running with Catholic presence. There you go, because in general, Vietnam is actually a Buddhist country, and you might wonder why Catholicism is also existing in certain areas. It's because of the history that transpired in many decades, and that's how it became fruitful in the spiritual aspects of the Vietnamese culture. All right, that's it for a quick historical context of the St. Joseph's Cathedral. So let's give you a better perspective, really close to the St. Joseph's Cathedral.
Starting now, we're breaking out, but I'm not leaving without you. This could be our one.
That's just a quick update, just giving you a quick glimpse of St. Joseph Cathedral. I have been here several times already. I just wanted to show you what's really going on here during summer season, which is pretty odd. It's supposed to be extremely hot, but currently this is what we're getting in Hanoi. It's gloomy since yesterday and since the day I arrived. That was last Friday. Things changed. Good for me because I don't have to sweat really the entire day. Because where I came from Bangkok, it's extremely hot. Summer, and even at the rate that the weather temperature and the weather really in general is gloomy, it's really humid. And with that amount of humidity, that's going to give you sweat. Difference between here, I think the level of here in Bangkok, the level of humidity at this point in time in Bangkok is really high versus here in Hanoi. And today, the actual temperature is really cooler than what I am actually expecting. I'm really happy how the weather temperature turned out today because then I get to move around and I get to show you beautiful things here around Hanoi. In the next coming few days, that's going to be tomorrow and the day after, I have a couple of plans already to make sure that my incoming task will be fulfilled. I needed to renew my passport because I've got basically 2 pages left, with my passport. The passport will actually expire on 2028, but unfortunately, I've left 2 pages with my passport, and there's no room for me now to renew it because, first of all, when you are a tourist, it's not just here in Hanoi, and when you book a hotel or hostel for that matter, they need your identification, and passport is very crucial when I move in and out of the country, and therefore my passport is not available. That will be very difficult for me to book an accommodation, whether a hostel or a hostel for that matter. And that's the reason why I will try to check out if the Philippine embassies can issue a short notification that my passport is currently in passport renewal, so that we can give them some sort of heads up that I'm having a passport renewal in lieu or in the absence of my passport, because they're gonna take my old passport, they're gonna cancel it. I'm not really sure if they're gonna give it back to me beforehand or on the day that they're gonna issue my new passports. And I'm thinking this ahead of time because it's important for me to put things really in proper perspective, because I don't like to be caught with something else that it's not very likable to endure during the day, because I have already received many surprises in my last few weeks and months. So I don't like any surprises that are really negative surprises that can burden my movement while I'm out of Bangkok. If I can do it really in a more organized manner, I think that will ease down every single thing that I have planned, ease down the effort, and make things really easy for me and predictable in that sense. All right, we're heading to Hoàn Kiếm Lake. I was walking in Hoàn Kiếm Lake last night to just enjoy the vibe during the weekend. We're still at the very last day of this weekend. Really enjoying this last day, even at the rate that it's nearly 3. So we're still maximizing our time while we have the time. And the reason why I started to just vlog today, because I wanted to show you in a broad daylight the beautiful Hoàn Kiếm Lake. As I have been vlogging several times with nighttime ambiance, so we're showing you the daytime. All right, we're pretty close to Hoàn Kiếm Lake. Things have changed actually. If you notice here in Hoàn Kiếm Lake, there are many vendors selling around this entire lake. We've got beautiful flowers that are, I don't know if they have just planted this one for certain event, because this is what I know about activities here in Hanoi. I have been here in Hanoi several times already, and locals have told me, several stories about why there are many physical changes in the city in terms of, beautification of the city because of certain events that happen during the year. It can be during the National Day or the New Year, and they call it Tet. So they like to decorate a lot. They like to make their city presentable. As you can see at the background, see there are plenty of flowers that I haven't seen really in the past. And they seem to be just planted a couple of, months ago. And they start to bloom because obviously it's monsoon season, just in time to actually shower the flowers, the gardens in general, the bushes everywhere. And we've got also a couple of like big flower paths around this area. Let me show it to you. This one and another one over there. So you've got this really massive flower pots installed around the Kiếm Lake. So I'm gonna see you in a while. I just need to do some sort of walking at home just to kill my time at the moment. And let's say hi to my vlog. Got lovely ladies who wanted to say hi. So I just needed a couple of really time to rest a bit because I have been talking a lot. All right, see you in my next destination. Bye.
Veo en tus ojos mi vida pasar y se extraña si lo cierro. Y si mañana nos toca no estar, miro al cielo y te veo. Pero ya sé que no voy a olvidar tu perfume.
And just a quick update. It was really funny. I tried to shoot with a video mode and I actually turned on the landscape icon with my macro lens attached or mounted on the action camera. So just so you know, I'm actually using a macro lens to enhance a bit the cinematic effect of when taking videos. Now the challenge really of having a macro lens is that you really have to be mindful because most of the time, my default, I usually set my macro lens into the person mode. So there are 3 icons that are actually put over there to make sure that you can tweak your lenses accordingly based on how you shoot. Most of my time shooting in vlogging style where I usually walk and talk about the things that I am seeing or showing to you. So I normally put this as my default. And for some reason, many occasions I am trying to show certain places so that I can include them in my vlog. It's not in my system, you know what I'm saying? It's now automatic. I really have to tweak my macro lens. We call this a macro lens, so that I can achieve the result of clarity. This is what I really like about Hanoi because look, check this out. This charcoal portrait making is part of the communal activities inside the Kiếm Lake, and there are tons of activities that are really installed around this Kiếm Lake. So you don't just see this regular street night markets that are installed pretty close to the temple over there. I forgot the name of the temple. There are tons of activities installed at every corner of this Kiếm Lake. Back in the days, they used to have this like K-pop style dance craze, so you could see a lot of people flocking in one corner watching over the dance craze. And what I like about this communal sense is that people are free to enjoy and walk around this beautiful lake. And when I talk about people, I'm talking about even smaller units, family, all sorts of people, couples, singles, people in groups who are currently doing some sort of group tour, and many more. That's the sense, that communal sense that you get here in the heart of Hanoi, specifically here in Kiếm Lake. Whether tourists are here or not, these activities are really happening anyway. Alright, let's just sit for a quick update of this beautiful journey here in the Hoàn Kiếm Lake. See you in a while. Bye. Alright, check this out. We are just pretty close to the vending machine. I found a vending machine, so I'm going to get to grab a coffee, and I haven't even started my coffee today, so now is the right time. This is a vending machine, so let's try to attempt if we can get one. And I don't know yet if cafe latte is available here. Check this out.
Này, cuối cùng
Okay, so there are banknotes denominations that you can actually use here. So I've got a couple of banknotes over here. Let's try this one. This is Hao Cafe. And where do we put the bill? Oh, over here. Let's we get that one. All right, this is how it looks like over here. So I'm getting my coffee. I'm not sure if they're putting condensed milk over here. So it's gonna be really a surprise today. I couldn't read the text over there because it's written in Vietnamese. I'm quite lazy to do some sort of translations. I'm waiting for the result. If it's an actual, this is not a coffee latte. This is just a black coffee. So let's see. Fantastic. So we're getting our coffee latte over here. It's actually a coffee latte, really good. So I was expecting just a black coffee. Really good. I thought it was just a black coffee. I don't know if we have sugar. But here, check this out. That's a strong coffee. This is a strong coffee, really. Anyway, Vietnamese coffee is known for really, strong, and they have a very unique, distinct coffee taste that's really just exclusive for Vietnamese taste. That's why they're known for it, because that taste is also an excellent taste for coffee lovers like me. All right, see you in a while. Let's enjoy the black coffee. Bye.